Make this summer unforgettable driving in a Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Edison. Join me Friday, July 10th at 12 noon, where I will be hosting my show live from Mercedes-Benz of Edison. I'm excited to see my friend and GM Doug Wells and the entire staff. Mercedes-Benz of Edison is committed to making your shopping experience stress-free. That's one reason they were named the 2026 Mercedes-Benz Dealer of the Year by Cars.com. Visit Mercedes-Benz of Edison and meet me, Greg Kelly. See you soon.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Let's go to Alan Dershowitz calling in right now.
All right, Professor Dershowitz. Now, to my point in all of this, here's what happened in this Platner case. The first woman was a Republican. So they somehow, kind of watered down a lot of the story. They talked about her politics. Now this new woman is a Democrat. So for some reason, now the Democrats believe her. That's a problem to me.
Well, they don't believe her. This is all hypocrisy. The villains of this piece are Liz Warren, Ro Khanna, Bernie Sanders, the people who continue to enthusiastically support this Nazi rapist. Before this even came out, they should be ashamed of themselves, and nobody should believe anything any of them say about anything, because they're pure hypocrites. It's all about whether it's a Democrat or Republican. If it's a Democratic woman, you believe her. If it's a Republican woman, you don't believe her. These are the same people who are making so much political hay out of the Epstein matter, without questioning any of the so-called victims and survivors, many of whom were complicit, and some of whom were recruiting other girls and stuff like that. But it's all about who makes the accusation, whether it's a Democrat or Republican, and whether it can benefit the Democrats or Republicans. These people don't give one damn about women. And I include with that Liz Warren. I mean, Liz Warren supporting Platner and all these people supporting Platner before this ever happened. Now they should be ashamed. They should be totally canceled from any Democratic politics. And now they want to be able to name his successor. They shouldn't have any influence on that. Anybody who runs now for the Senate as a Democrat who has the support of any of these people should be discounted, because all they're doing is substituting one for the other. But it's such hypocrisy. It's unbelievable. What do we tell our children? That it's all about whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. There's no such thing as truth. No such thing as morality. It's all about political advantage. That's all it is. Professor, this is John Catsimatidis. Yeah. I think, I don't know who's telling the truth or who's not telling the truth, but I think the second lady, the last lady being a Democrat, I think might have been set up because the polls came out that he was going to lose, and they wanted somebody else to run. My opinion. Look, I believe everything should be investigated, because there's so much hypocrisy and so much result-oriented. As long as we can get our person elected, we don't care what happens. We don't care if he's a Nazi. We don't care if he's an anti-Semite. We don't care if he hates women. We don't care if he's a rapist. As long as he's a Democrat, we're going to elect him. And, how many honest people are there? John Fetterman, he's the only honest Democrat in the Senate these days. And he said, right from the beginning, he couldn't support Platner, even though that might affect who controls the Senate. There are things that are more important than who controls the Senate, and that is honesty and integrity and a single standard. And we're not seeing any of that here. And so it's so worrisome. I have to testify in front of these people in a couple of weeks, and they're going to grill me and attack me. And these are the same people who supported Graham Platner. I'm not going to sit back and just take that from people who are such hypocrites.
I was going to say, you throw it back in their face. I've lost all respect for them. Craig Eaton.
Yeah. Professor, today in politics, it's win at any and all cost, no matter who you have to libel, defame, slander, murder. attack, whatever you have to do, it's win at all costs. And it's shameful the way this system is turned around.
It's terrible. And our young people are being brought up with that. When we were growing up, there was a sense that there were real people in politics that you can admire. And that's gone. There are still a few, as I say. John Fetterman, you got to give the guy so much credit.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's great.
He just tells the truth.
Did you see what he said, Professor, too? He even came out, and one of the things that I really do, and I agree with you, I commend him so much. He came out and said that Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren and all these people owe these victims, these alleged victims, an apology. Like he said, he went so much further. He said, how dare they through all of this? And you know what? I'm sorry. I'm so fired up today. So one of the things that's so shocking to me, to John's point, it's like it is all about politics. And you look at this right now. They were willing to overlook the Nazi tattoo. They were willing to overlook the fact that he was slamming veterans. They were willing to overlook his horrible comments about gays, about police, about the assault. There were assault allegations before that he grabbed another woman and he turned her hand behind her back, held her like against her will in a room. Yeah. I'm sorry. That should have been enough.
Of course, that's more than enough. But even today, as Fetterman pointed out, Bernie Sanders, in making his apologies for no longer supporting Platner, never said a word about the woman. Never said how much courage she has, that she's a real victim. And he doesn't care about victims. He only cares about victims if they're victims of people he doesn't like. And then he goes to the mat for them. And, nobody should believe anything. Bernie Sanders and Liz Warren and O'Connor, but are among the most hypocritical members of our Congress, and people should just not pay attention to them when they say things. They are not moral standard bearers. They're moral pariahs. I've known Liz Warren for 40 years, and she is one of the world's great hypocrites. And yet the people of Massachusetts not only elect her, but New England elects only Democrats and only radical Democrats now, which is why it's so important for Collins to win. She would be the only Republican in all of New England, and she votes half the time with the Democrats. But she would be the only Republican in the entire New England. And who does New England have now in the Senate? They have, horrible people, horrible hypocrites who don't care about America and who care only about, socialism and their own, their own ideology. Yeah. And so, that's why I left the Democrat. I couldn't be in the same room with these people.
Professor, I'm still upset about when I realized, and sometimes you have to realize it, that Massachusetts has zero Democratic congressmen, zero Democrat. Zero Democrat.
All of New England.
Yeah, New England. And in Massachusetts, there's 39% Republicans that have no representation in Washington.
Of course, and the same thing is true in Connecticut. The same thing is true in Vermont. The same thing is true in New Hampshire, and it would be true in Maine. And people talk about underrepresentation, of some Democrats in red states, but they don't look at what's going on in deep blue states like Massachusetts, and where you have people running, and whoever is the most radical, the most anti-American, the most anti-Israel, they're the ones who win the election. I mean, even if you get a guy like Joe Kennedy, who was a terrific congressman, he loses to a nobody like Markey in the Democratic primary. And it's all about, because these are all Democratic, deep blue states, there are no elections. It's only about the primaries. And about the primaries, very few people vote. And the people who vote tend to be the most radical, most anti-American people. And therefore, the Democrats tend to have extremists on their side. And
well, that's on steroids this go round, Professor. Here is Judge Weinberg.
Alan, good to talk to you. Speaking about radical policies, both Massachusetts and Illinois, both statewide and locally, are pushing reparation bills. Now, It seems to me that this is a violation of equal protection. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, not only that, but it's a violation of a lot of different kinds of things. You can't take money from taxpayers and pay them to the great-great-grandchildren of people who have been harmed. When the Japanese reparations occurred, it was from the actual people who were in the camps in 1942-43. But now we're talking about people who may not even be in any way blood relatives of the people, and it gives reparations based on race, and that's a clear denial of equal protection.
Yeah, let's see where it goes. I agree with you. But they keep trying these sort of reparations. You hear them popping up around the country.
And New York State has a commission on this as well.
Yep, California. I'm thinking, yep, exactly. Well, Professor, thank you so much. We always love having you here, and thank you for always fighting the good fight.
Yeah, let's fight back. Don't take this kind of nonsense. I'm certainly going to fight back. So.
Yeah, we agree. We're with you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.